Hello, Internet, and welcome once again to the Always Online Multiplayer Gaming Podcast brought to you by mmorpg.com, your home for all things multiplayer related. I'm your host, as always, Mike Byrne, a.k.a. Magic Man, and yeah, it is episode 469. Noise. We're doing the show live, as always, twitch.tv/MMOBomb, 1 p.m. Eastern. Chat already chiming in. We were talking about some stuff pre-show. Yes, I did see that the Star Wars Fallen Jedi sequel is going to be about 155 gigs on PC, so start clearing out some room now for that damn thing. Holy hell. Also, all kinds of other Star Wars news. We're going to talk about that tomorrow on Gaming Gumbo if you want to talk about the Star Wars Celebration stuff. Today, it's all about multiplayer gaming, and we've got a lot to cover. If you're watching on YouTube, on MMOBomb, or listening on any of the audio platforms, iTunes, Spotify, Audible, all that fun stuff, thank you so much. While you're there, click like, click subscribe, turn on the notifications. You know the drill. Feed the algorithm, and most importantly, don't forget on mmobomb.com and YouTube to leave your weekly bombs. No question of the answer this week. No question. I'm not giving one. I'm gonna try and drop it again because I'm not getting answers. So taking it away. So leave your weekly bombs there. Let us know what you're thinking about this week in gaming. As we kick it over to Mr. Troy Blackburn. What's up, Noob Fridge?
You know, I'm still caffeinating this morning, and I realized if I was sponsored by Coca-Cola, I could afford a fancy background like Mr. Dino Fries.
Yeah, you could. Absolutely. Also on the line, welcoming him back, Mr. Matthew D'Onofrio. What's up, Dino Fries? How are you?
What's up, guys? I actually am also drinking some Coke like Choice, so sponsors.
He must be sponsored. He has a fancy background.
Yeah, but he does the same glass I do. I love those little like stemless wine glasses. Those are my favorites.
Oh, there we go. Cheers.
However, not drinking Coke, drinking a little iced tea. Not like it's much better for you. It's still pretty bad. We're going to kick it off with the news. And you know what? It was kind of a slower news day. So you know what? I feel like we got a lot of little small news, and we'll get to it. But why don't we kick off the news with a game? Poor Troy feeling left out. Oh, because he's drinking from the bottle. Yeah, I mean he is
like the poor unsponsored bloke that I am.
He is Noob Fridge the Barbarian. So that's what he's got there. You drink from what you have. Oh, your frame's doing the same thing here. Let me bump you up a little bit. Okay, there we go. All right, let me turn on the scores. Boop boop 0 and 0. We're going to play a little game called Real or Fake Steam Reviews. Now, Matthew's new around here, so I will explain the rules, not just for Matthew's sake, but for those of you watching or listening. This is where I'm going to give you, we have about 6 or 7. I'm going to tell you the game. It will be a multiplayer game again. And I have scraped interesting reviews for each. But I'm going to read you 2 reviews for each. One of those reviews is absolutely real and can be found on that game's Steam page. The other one is totally made up, can't be found there, and is written by our own Jason Winter. And he's outdone himself again. Some of them are just hysterical. So the way this will work is we will do a coin toss. We'll let Matthew, since you're the newest host, call the coin toss. We have the Quarter of Destiny, the Coin of Destiny, heads and tails, basic one. And if you win the coin toss, you will get the choice, Matthew, of whether on the first question you would like to answer first or you would like to have Troy answer first. Once both of you have locked in your answers, you, of course, can choose the same answer if you like. We will award 1 point to each correct answer for each player. So the max points one of you can get is 6. There are 6 questions. So Matthew, the coin toss is yours. Do you prefer heads or tails, my friend?
Tails.
Tails. It is in fact heads. It is heads. So Troy, you get the choice. Would you like to answer first, or would you like to force Matthew to answer first?
I'm gonna let Matthew answer first.
Oh, get the rookie some time on the road, huh? All right, this first one is from EverQuest 2, which was in the news recently on MMOBomb, and Troy and I had a lot of fun talking about that. Players, you scored a victory with EverQuest 2 by getting them to take those pay-to-raid loot boxes out. And, of course, you got the typical message of, oh, well, you know, we realized after your feedback that these boxes don't share our combined values. Bullshit.
Never forget what they wanted to do.
Yeah, they might have fixed it, but you saw what they wanted to do. Don't forget. So this first one is from EverQuest 2. Matthew, I'm going to read you 2. I'll tell you if they're recommending the game or not recommending the game to. And sometimes, on real or fake, if we think playtime should factor into your decision, we'll give that to you as well. But you got to tell me which one you think is real, which one you think is fake. So just pick the real one, get a point. Or pick the, yeah, you know what I mean. Find the real one. Okay, so here's a not recommended review for EverQuest 2. And they have 0.3 hours on record. 0.3. 0.3 of a freaking hour. That's 18 minutes, folks. All in capitals, this game is a load of shit. Why the F did I download this? Oh, yeah, that's right. I was intoxicated at 4 a.m. The other review from EverQuest 2 is also not recommended. And says, if you want to relive the glory days of MMOs where everything sucked and you never had time to do anything else, you could do worse. One of those 2 reviews is real. One of those is fake. Matthew, which one is the real EverQuest 2 review?
Second one.
I think the second one. That, old school MMOs, we had everything sucked and you never had time to do anything else. You could do worse. All right. Troy, what do you think here? Second chat, obviously, yeah, chime in.
I think I'm going to go with the first one.
Now, do you have like a feeling on why, or are you just playing the odds game trying to figure out like, hey, I'll get a point or he'll get a point. It won't be a 1-1-1-1-1-1 game all the way down.
I feel like the first one is more of a like a current MMO player stumbling upon EverQuest 2
at 4 a.m. drunk.
What the WTF?
Chat kind of split on this one too. Takao going with Matthews, saying the second one's real. Ninja Pandas and Baron going with Troy. Too Lazy wants the first one to be real so bad. Well, Too Lazy, your wish is my command. The real EverQuest 2 review is the being drunk and installing it at 4 in the morning. So, Troy,
that's real.
Troy, that puts you in the lead, 1-0. Still a long way to go. Long way to go. But, Troy, you have to answer first this time. What's up, Stojan from work? Hey, all right. Tell work people hello. Troy, this next one, you have to answer first, and it's from one of your favorite games. So don't be the guy that gets it wrong on one of your favorite games. And
yeah, no pressure.
And I mean that seriously. This isn't like a Bless Online thing. This is from Smite. Both reviews are
Smite last night.
Both reviews are recommended, so we got some thumbs up here. The first one is better Rule 34 content potential than League of Legends, in my opinion. And the second review is, I don't need a girlfriend because Smite's matchmaking fucks me every day. One of those reviews is real and totally on Steam. The other one is not. Troy, you have to answer first for your favorite game. And it's weird because you look at both of these and you're like, damn, that both of those apply.
Yeah. I feel like the second one is somebody who actually plays MOBAs and they're just feeling all the feels right now because that definitely happens.
Hey, at least it's not League of Legends right now without autofill in some areas.
Yeah, really. Then you like matchmaking can't fuck you because you're never going to get in a game.
Right. So which one's real, Troy?
I'm going to go with the second one where
don't need a girlfriend.
Matchmaking is effing me hard.
All right. Matthew, do you agree or do you think maybe it's the Rule 34 review that's the real one?
I'll go with the first one just to contradict Troy.
He's
Trying
just
to get a point here.
hey, at least Matthew's honest. Seems like just to contradict Troy. So what do we got in chat? They both could be real. Yeah. Again, got to go second one from Takal. Shirak going too lazy to create a username. Wants number 2 to be real, but doubts it. Ninja Pandas and Baron going with 1. So split on this one, which means Jason Winter absolutely doing his job. The real review, Smite players don't need girlfriends. They absolutely don't need girlfriends. So, yeah, Troy, you get that one again.
Oh, wait. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw Matt. I saw you pump, and I'm like, Matt, you didn't get that right. He's like, yeah, go Troy. He's all about helping you, Troy. So a little
Take your
bit of
sponsorship and shove it, buddy.
Matthew, back to you for number 3. This one on another game we covered this week in the news on mmobomb.com. Make sure you check out the site, right? Giveaways, first look videos. That's the one that pays the bills. So make sure to visit the site and tell us hello. And leave reviews for some of your favorite multiplayer games on our game pages to let other gamers know whether they should stay away. But this one we covered in news only because it's launching on another platform. It's coming out on Papaya Play. So Tree of Savior is the game of question here, Matthew. And we've got one review. Actually, both of these are not recommended, so keeps it easy. They're both thumbs down. Loot boxes contain materials to make endgame gear. On the bright side, you'll get to endgame at turbo speed since the first 400 or so levels have been nerfed to hell. Fast leveling and pay to win at endgame. Maybe connected? Question mark. The second review, which will also let you know has 11,453 hours on record. First few thousand hours was pretty okay. The rest is a pain. One of those two are real, one not so real. If you need them again, let me know. But those are your two choices, Matthew.
1 is real.
Number 1 is real. The loot boxes and endgame material stuff. Shirak going with you. Takal going with you. Too Lazy going with you. Ninja everybody going with number 1. Troy, what do you think?
I think I'm going to go number 1 too. The amount of hours, 11,000 hours on the second one. That is a big
number.
That's a big number. So I'm going to go with the first one.
11,453 does sound like a number Jason would just pull out of his rear. I mean,
yeah.
So everybody getting a point or everybody
time in a game.
It is.
Golly.
Everybody getting a point or everybody not getting a point here, depending on which one. Both of you going with the loot boxes, end game, pay to win, maybe connected. Gentlemen, the real review is the 11,453 hours on record review.
Fake one's so intricate.
It is. The best part about that review is it just says first few thousands of hours were pretty okay. The rest is a pain. And they did have 11,453 hours on record. The review was written at about the 7,000 or 8,000 hour mark, if I remember right, because it leaves you like how many hours they have when they reviewed it and now their total hours. So that was like 2/3 of their time. Then they put that review on and played for another 4,000 or 5,000 hours. So that guy needs to look for more games, says Chad.
Yeah.
So nobody gets the point there. It's still Troy's lead, 2-0. Troy, we'll go to one that you've dabbled in before. Dungeons & Dragons Online. Got 2 reviews. This time they're split as far as one recommending and one not recommending. Maybe that'll help you pick the right one. Maybe it won't. The first one is the not recommended review. If you want D&D, play Neverwinter instead. Game is dated as hell and almost impossible to play. The other review is the recommended one that says, my wife's boyfriend lets me play this after I do the chores. Great game. Thank you, Frank. There's something wrong with the internet. Or Jason Winter. You have to decide.
One of the two.
Is something wrong with the internet? Or is something wrong with Jason Winter? Not recommending. If you want D&D, play Neverwinter instead. Game is dated as hell and almost impossible to play. Somebody else recommends it, saying that their wife's boyfriend lets me play this after I do the chores. Great game. Thank you, Frank. Troy, which one is the real review?
As much as I have a hard time comprehending somebody who's really looking for a D&D game recommending Neverwinter over DDO, I'm going to go with the first one anyway. It just feels like somebody who's more into modern MMOs.
Like more into action-y, and because
Yeah.
DDO is a little archaic. Even for like MMO standards at the time, it was very different the way that one was played.
It's definitely, it's got its dated attributes to it, but it's Dungeons and Dragons though. Like the first time I ever played it, I played it with a hardcore D&D player, and he was having the time of his freaking life because everything was so D&D.
So you're going to go with thanking Frank or not that. I'm sorry. If you want D&D play Neverwinter as the real review.
Yeah.
Okay. Matthew, your decision, my friend.
I'll go with Frank.
You just keeping it short and concise. I'll go with Frank. Frank seems like a nice guy, right? He just seems he lets him play.
These all have been so crazy. I feel like it's got to be the crazy one now.
It is the crazy one. Matthew gets his first point ever in real or fake Steam reviews. My wife's boyfriend lets me play this after I do the chores. Great game. Thank you, Frank. Is in fact the real review. Oh, chat. Hey, let's go, Frank. All right. So Matthew's turn, right? Yeah, Matthew, you got to go first this time. Two left. It's a 2-1 game, so still a coin toss. Anybody's game. Frank is goated. Albion Online. Mr. Matthew. One review is not recommended. It says, if I wanted to spend hours grinding with no payoff, I'd get back in touch with my high school girlfriend. The other review is recommended and says, PvP is the best I've ever seen, and I used to play EVE Online. What you think?
No, it's one.
It's got to be number one.
It's got to be number one.
Just hands down, it's got to be number one. Troy, are you going with Matthew, or do you think EVE Online might be the real one?
I think it's going to be number one.
You think it's going to be number one? You both get a point here. Apparently, go ahead.
Lose.
Yeah. Well, there's still one more.
Oh, there is one more.
Yeah, there's one more. So you could tie this game at a 3-3 match, or lose 3-2 or 4-2, depending on what Troy does with this final answer. Troy, the last one, fitting that we go to you, is in fact Bless Online, because I had to.
Oh my God.
I had to. Both of them are not recommended, though. Imagine that.
Yeah, imagine that.
The first review not recommended says, Bless, all in capitals, BLESS. Brainless losers enjoy some shit. BLESS. Brainless losers enjoy some shit. The second review, also not recommended, says, definitely one of the games on Steam.
Is this stream?
Yeah, Twitch disconnected. It's fine.
It's him. You're gonna have to wait a minute and give those to us again because you're super robot-y.
Oh, I roboted too.
Yeah,
You roboted. You
Oh,
wrote
okay.
out.
yeah. We heard nothing of either one of them.
All right, so we're good now. We're good now. Can you hear me now?
It's still connecting.
There we go. Oh no, the stream is fine. We can just keep going. It'll reconnect to the stream. As long as you can hear me.
We hear you for the moment.
I think I can hear you now.
Yeah, you're good. Okay. So Bless Online, both reviews not recommended.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Troy, the first one is Bless, all in capitals, BLESS, saying brainless losers enjoy some shit. BLESS.
So simple yet so profound.
It's just elegant, right? It's just elegant. The second one, also not recommended, says definitely one of the games on Steam. So you got two. Bless, brainless losers enjoy some shit.
By the way,
yeah, the stream is down. We're fine. We're fine.
Okay,
It's on Twitch's side, not on ours. We're green to keep going as far as recording.
Sorry.
You're fine. So what do you think, Troy? The acronym Brainless Losers Enjoy Some Shit? Or definitely one of the games on Steam?
I'm gonna go with the first one and hope that somebody was more clever than Jason.
Hopes that somebody was more clever than Jason. All right. So he's going for the first one. Matthew,
Can you repeat
think
the second one again?
the second one is definitely one of the games on Steam.
What did Troy pick?
He picked the first one, the BLESS acronym. Brainless losers enjoy some shit.
I lose either way, so I gotta go with 2.
Yeah, like mathematically, you kind of have to go with 2, right?
I gotta go with 2.
All right. Chat, see, catching you up since Twitch was a butt there for a minute. Bless Online, both not recommended. The first one was Bless, BLESS. Brainless losers enjoy some shit, spelling out the acronym. The second option was definitely one of the games on Steam. Troy takes the first one. Matthew takes the second one. And Matthew, you tie the game.
Let's go.
Yep. The real review was definitely one of the games on Steam. So, yeah, giving the internet a little too much credit there, I guess, and Jason Winter too little credit, Troy.
Listen, I just want to thank Frank for everything he's done for me.
I almost spit all over my monitor. Caught me unawares. Way to go, Frank. Frank is goated. Now you guys are tied. And I don't have a tiebreaker one.
Just make one up.
Yeah, you just make one up on the spot. Here, let's actually do this. I'll go to Steam, and I'll get a review for a multiplayer game still. And you try to tell me the game. Obviously, I'm going to pick a review that's has some hints in it. Okay, Steam's page is being a butt, so we're not going to do that either. Actually, it's just my internet being a butt, maybe. Yeah. So, yeah, coin toss it is. Let's go to the coin toss.
To the coin toss.
To the coin toss. Where did I put the coin of destiny? Oh, here it is. Matthew, I think for your strong comeback, you should get to call this. If it's an 8, if you get it right, you win. Heads or tails?
You already know.
You going tails again? It is tails. Matthew takes the win, baby. Oh, Troy. Troy. What a letdown. Troy, you're so disappointing. You lost to a coin toss.
I know.
Oh, man.
How terrible.
Let's Dusty ass quarter. It is. It's the coin of destiny. It's been in and out of that desk drawer forever. Chat loves an underdog story.
Yes.
All right, so let's talk about some news. We got 2 little sections here for you. The first one's kind of like, I mean, I don't really know what to say. And the first one that we're going to talk about is Redfall. Troy, IGN and Redfall have kind of been in bed together since it was announced, right? Like most of the news that drops from Redfall comes on IGN, and like 24 hours later, everybody else's embargo falls. So, it is what it is. Rather than wait, we just went ahead and put up the piece and sourced IGN on it. We're like, sure, fine, whatever. You can have a sourcing. And they've started releasing trailers about the specific characters that we're going to play, starting with Layla, giving some of her features and abilities. What did you think of this? It was like kind of a animated deal, and then like almost like interview style in some, but it wasn't gameplay, which is really weird for me to see when this game comes out next month.
Yeah, it sort of built itself sort of as an ability like reveal type deal, and all it did was it was just like a pre-rendered trailer, just like everything else we've seen so far. It did explain why she has the and I don't want to spoil it for anybody if you want to wait and see the trailer, but why she has the vampire that works with her. But other than that, man, it didn't, like, I was expecting like a full breakdown of abilities and stuff. Like, this is her first ability, and this is what it does, and this is how much damage or cooldown and stuff like that. And it was just nothing like that. It was the same, just look at it in a cinematic, the same way we've been seeing them. You've seen the purple elevator, you've seen the purple umbrella shield, the same things that we've already seen over and over. And it just didn't really give anything new. Especially to be like, they're really touting this as like a series on all the characters in the game. And if this is all we're going to get out of it, who cares?
Takao says, I remember a few weeks ago you guys were talking about Redfall, and I found out it was a shooter. You thought it was an RPG. Once I saw it, I said, this is probably going to come and go pretty fast. It doesn't seem to be setting the world on fire from previews. Yeah, there were some press preview stuff put out. There was a very limited access point, so take it for what it is. Those can sometimes not really be the most representative things as far as gameplay goes. Sometimes they get overblown, and sometimes they're muted a little bit because they don't want to show huge, big features for it. But, Matthew, this one literally May 2nd, so we're technically less than a month, and it's still the most information we have on this game is that it's kind of open world-ish, big area, run around with your friends, do it alone, vampire stuff. That's for a game that's 3.5 weeks away. These are nice. These are certainly nice, but I would have, and I thought the animation was cool, but I would have thought these would be some of the first things we'd see, and we'd start seeing League of Legends dropping the trailers for the full skill kits for upcoming heroes and stuff like that.
Yeah, I totally agree. I also thought the trailer was pretty cool. I like that little comic book style, and the character herself. I think those skeleton things on her hands are very cool. I might have to steal that. I don't know what for, but it's super rad.
It's on Amazon, I'm sure.
They did show her combat a little bit. But yeah, I mean, now you kind of second guess well, are they trying to hide something? Are they they're gonna make me buy the game and then figure it out and make a financial mistake beforehand? I don't know.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, having it on Game Pass is going to help. A lot of us are really, really glad of that because of the price tag.
Right.
And this was a game that was already delayed once, Troy. Remember, this got delayed out of 2022 into 2023 at the same time, basically, that Bethesda delayed Starfield. So the fact that the game is this delayed, and we're still kind of in the same boat of, we kind of know exactly what we knew back when it was delayed, maybe a few little oddball details with some of the map preview stuff they showed us. That's it.
You went Robo again, Mike.
Oh, but this was already delayed once, Troy. This already got delayed, and we're still kind of in the same information box we were last year when it got delayed into 2023. That is a little concerning for a game 3.5 weeks away.
Yeah, they've sort of had a history of not really showing what they need to be showing at the times they need to be showing it. And, we talked about that during the last big reveal where they finally showed a little bit of making it look more open world and sort of being able to, some of the things you can do in the world and places you can explore. But at the end of the day, that still wasn't the greatest showcase of that I've ever seen. So they've just got this history of not showing us much, or maybe they're just bad at it. Maybe they just don't know how to show what they need to be showing at the time. I don't know that Arcane has done a multiplayer game like this before, so maybe they just don't know what they're doing.
It's certainly, I'm still looking forward to it, but it certainly is a little, come on, show me more. This is just a couple weeks away.
Yeah.
On the other hand, Matthew, apparently CSGO players are all about giving Valve more money lately, huh?
They love turning over their money. They love gambling on loot chests. They love gambling, period, apparently.
Yeah, how much is CSGO rolling in, Matt? I think you wrote this, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Last month they made $100 million on cases.
That is absurd.
That blew my mind. I was like,
in a month.
No way it's that much.
I mean, CSGO 2, is obviously the driver here, right? They've been crushing their concurrent player records over the last 3 and 4 months over and over. And then when CSGO 2, Source 2 was shown and confirmed to be a real thing, then CSGO just went nuts again. But $100 million in the month of March is crazy.
It's crazy.
Each case is what? 70 cents to more than $60 to obtain. and then $250 to open. I don't do either of you are either of you CS:GO guys? Can you explain to me the crate system in CS:GO? Because I never have bought crates.
No, CSGO's never been my thing.
Unreal.
Yeah.
Unreal. You ever bought? Is there a game you buy loot crates in, Matt?
Loot boxes?
Yeah.
Hearthstone? Although
Yeah, you
those are
kind of
card,
have
those
to
are
though.
card
Like, yeah,
packs. They're random though.
yeah, they are random.
I think I've bought loot boxes in Overwatch before.
Troy, I'm not a big
I've-
loot box guy.
Yeah, I'm not a big loot
Nah.
box either. I don't buy any loot boxes in like ESO. I've bought some in Smite, but in Smite, you can at least see everything that's in the loot box. And once you've gotten something out of it, you're not going to get like a duplicate. You can work towards getting the thing that you want.
Duplicates is just not fair at all.
No. I mean, I get loot boxes in Rocket League, but they're rewards. You know, you can't buy them. You just get them as
Right.
rewards in the season pass and stuff like that. And then even then, there's a system for taking your duplicates, crushing them up, and getting a
Yeah.
random one of a
Yeah.
higher rarity type
They
deal.
need that. You need that in the game. I actually like. I don't know if I'm unpopular opinion for this, but I actually like loot boxes.
Really?
I think it's fun. I think it's cool that my character can look different than others instead of us all looking the same, earning the same stuff through progression. I don't like when loot boxes are paid like necessary for progression or super expensive and stuff like that. But if I can earn them just by playing the game, I think it's fun to open it up and then maybe get something cool and show it off.
So
Know
how do
that
you
other
feel about
people
like
weren't that lucky.
the argument against them, you know, being gambling or predatory on people that have addictive personality traits and things like that, or obviously targeting kids in certain titles, Fortnite, things like that?
Yeah, the kid stuff is definitely not good, and there should be limitations in that regard. If it's a game aimed for kids, if that's their audience. But if you're an adult, I mean, you can make your own decisions. Obviously, gambling is terrible, and if the game like preys on that, that's not good. But for us non-gambling addicts, it's just a fun little casual part of the game for me. I mean, I
Wow.
don't
Hey,
have
no, I mean, more power to you. Like,
Yeah.
enjoy games the way you want to enjoy them. That's the whole damn point. But it's probably one of the more unique takes. Like, I don't know if I've ever sat down and somebody's been like, "Oh yeah, I'm totally about them." Like, I used to not have a problem with them at all. I used to kind of have the same mentality that you're describing, where it's like, if I have expendable income and I'm not, mortgaging things to ridiculous degrees to buy these loot boxes to chase after something. If it's like, yeah, sure, I'll give them 5 and open a crate. Maybe I'll get that helm that I want or something like that. And then I think my view evolved over time just from like looking at all the slimy shit that came out of the gaming industry, like hidden presentations we weren't supposed to publicly see for how to get that monetization to be the most aggressive and purposefully addictive. And I think that really what turned me off, that it's like, even me, somebody that doesn't have like an addictive personality, has never been like a real gambling problem or anything like that. Even I am like, nah, I can't do that. So yeah.
Yeah,
And we're
just to
seeing them
reiterate, like-
fall more and more out of games because of that. Now that is generally becoming public knowledge that it's purposely overly aggressive, in your face, and there are tips and tricks built into the system to make you do it more than you might reasonably do so under normal conditions.
Yeah, and just like reiterate, I think like in today's climate, they're not good. I think that like when they first were a thing, they were fun and not as predatory. And like for me, they're cool because again, like I don't really buy them. I just earn them through
Yeah, for you
in-game
it's
progress.
yeah,
But I
or it's you
recognize
tossing
that-
a couple bucks at a favorite developer and calling it a
that's it.
day.
Right, but I recognize that in the grand scheme of how the industry is today, that it's bad, and like I can't have nice things because they're bad for they're bad for other people like kids or people who get addicted to that stuff. So like it's no big deal. Like it's not gonna make or break a game for me. I'm just saying that it was a positive element for me when I would partake.
And that's sort of the point of the loot boxes. They're supposed to feel good. They're supposed to be fun to open and get something out of them, and that's how they hook you. That's the whole point.
the whole dopamine hit, right?
Yeah.
Speaking of games aimed at kids and advertising or loot boxes and stuff like that, Roblox is adjusting its advertising policy, and now minors under 13 will no longer see ads of any kind. None. Not like these ads are approved and these ones aren't. No. They're just not going to see any ads at all. Now, before you go giving Roblox a round of applause for this, this is likely to stave off the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission, from coming down on Roblox, because there have been complaints filed with the FTC on Roblox's in-game advertisement system. So this isn't them out of the goodness of their heart, what's the best way to protect kids? No, this is most likely in response to the FTC is now sniffing around. Let's be proactive and get these out of here. So there still will be ads. You just won't see them if you're registered on Roblox as a player 13 or under, which I am absolutely positively sure, Troy, 100% of the players that are 13 and under have in fact checked the box, letting the game know that they are 13 and under. I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure.
Yeah, there's no way somebody would miss that or not do that.
What do you think of this? I mean,
a corporation.
It is a good thing, but it's one of those, like, you know, what's the definition of character? What you do when nobody's looking.
Yeah.
This ain't it. This ain't it.
Yeah, they're just gonna do it for to protect their own butts is all they're doing at this point. So, I mean, it's like you said, it's a good thing. It's a good thing, but the reasons behind it are unfortunate that it took that to get it to happen.
Also, some of the types of ads will be modified a little bit here. So the new policy also blocks specific types of ads, and this is in general, soliciting donations, promotional multi-level marketing companies. Are you serious? There were ads in Roblox for pyramid schemes?
They will just take whatever money they can get. They don't care.
Are you enjoying
That's so
Roblox?
good.
Maybe you'd like selling Avon Cosmetics.
It feels like an SNL skit. Like it's so
It really
ridiculous.
does. Promoting financial services. Just make it through that Roblox level, and here's an H&R Block ad. And anything that promotes cryptos and NFTs. Now, that one I could see Roblox being all over. Like, I just kind of like, yeah, they probably are all over those. But those types of ads are now being revamped as well. They're not allowed, and all ads won't be shown to 13-year-olds or lower or younger or lower. Like it's going to be based on a height requirement, I guess. Troy, when I first got the press release for this game and sent it to you to cover it, I was like, this might really be something Troy is going to be interested in. I know you're not huge on first-person shooters. You have your favorites, but like the RTS, real-time strategy element, and then being able to jump in on the units individually, I was like, this might be a mix of something Troy's going to like. You're watching the trailer for something called Silica, Silica. It's coming from the Arma Devs incubator program. Basically, they said it was kind of like imagined by one dude, and now there's a few people working on it, obviously. But it's mixing first-person shooters and real-time strategy games, having three factions kind of battle for control over the entire planet, and you kind of can zoom out for the RTS stuff and lead your troops around as the commander, or kind of just jump into one of those units and do like the first-person shooter stuff, either alone or with friends. I was like, man, this is probably something Troy's going to be interested in. Was I right? Or from what you've seen, no, this isn't for you?
No, it's definitely something I'm going to check out for sure. It's interesting to how much, because usually in an RTS, man, you usually have to, be overhead looking at everything and moving everything. So it's going to be interesting to see, what it does that allows you the time to jump in and really micro just one unit in an FPS style. So I'm interested in checking it out and taking a look at it for sure.
Any interest, Matthew, or is this not your cup of tea? How do you feel about like first-person shooters, real-time strategy, that type of stuff?
This looks cool. I like that they're combining. I don't really. What was that game? I played a lot of that. Was it that Lord of the Rings game, that RTS one? Do you guys know what I'm talking about? It was like Halo Warsy. Okay, it was about. Well,
Oh.
there was a Lord of the Rings RTS game that I played so much when I was little, but I really haven't got into the genre much beyond that. Um, but I like that this game is like RTS, and then you set up your. I guess you set up your bases or whatever, and then you jump into the action, and you're like one of the soldiers.
Is it Battle for Middle-earth? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah. Seems to be a few RTS, FPS games in development. There are, and this one's coming in early access soon, quote
I
unquote.
haven't seen a game like this. If there are others, that's really cool. I think this is a cool idea.
And it looks good too. It doesn't look like Troy, had a game idea and started putting it together in his basement. Obviously, the incubator program over at the Arma team is got some resources to work with, right? Let's not be coy about that. We don't know when it'll go into early access on Steam, but they also did say, and I kind of like that they put this out here, Troy, we expect to be in early access for about 9 to 12 months. Like getting that up there, like, look, this isn't just early access and it's basically launched, but we have the excuse of early access. They're like, look, guys, we're going to be in early access for up to a year.
There's a lot of work still left to be done. We're just going to put it live and accept some feedback and get some testing in and really do our best to get it taken care of and put out a quality game is what it sounds like.
Didn't Heroes and Generals do this same type of thing? Was it Heroes and Generals? I feel like there was like a World War I, World War II shooter where you could jump in and out of the people. I
I
don't
don't
know.
remember one where you could jump just directly into a person.
What a weird sentence. I don't remember one where you could just jump into a person.
It's a good way. He's right though.
yeah, he's absolutely not wrong. All right, let's talk about some woes in the multiplayer game space. Amazon, we had previously talked about, had laid off like 900 people or 9,000 people. But Matthew, now we have a little bit more detail about the impact to the games side of things.
Yeah, 100 employees, I think maybe a little bit over, got laid off from Prime Gaming and the studio in San Diego, which adds to the even greater number that's been happening lately. Even on Twitch, I think a lot of people got let go.
Yeah. Their first round of layoffs was like 9,000 employees, and a lot of them were at Twitch. Had their Twitch co-founder, resigned back in March too. But Troy, does this make you a little nervous on like your new world? Like they weren't specific with the layoff informations about who and what projects. They were just kind of like, yeah, it's the Game Growth Group, the gaming studio in San Diego, and Prime Gaming. And it was about 100, a little over 100. From Christoph Hartman, the vice president, says, there's never a pleasant way to share this sort of news, but we're committed to treating our impacted employees with empathy and respect, and will support them by offering them severance pay, health insurance benefits, outplacement services, and paid time to conduct their job search.
Yeah, does it concern me? Yeah, a little bit. I mean, we've got our roadmap for the year in New World. So we've got our expectations set. I would hate to see them sort of go in and hurt those goals that they've set for themselves for the year. But at the end of the day, it's out of their control whether or not people get fired or not. But yeah, a little concerning. I could see some delays and stuff maybe coming out of this, but hopefully we've got an exciting roadmap for the year for New World. And if they'll be able to at least remotely stick to that, we've got a good year ahead of us.
It's weird to me, and yeah, Justin in chat, that's certainly probably an element, right? Most of these people were probably the new hires during the pandemic that they hired to prevent other companies from hiring at the time. But it just seems like such a small number for a team that has New World. And yeah, New World had its own challenges getting Season 1 launched. We know that. It was delayed. It's finally available, and maybe you'll have clothes on when you log in or not. It depends. Yeah. But it seems like such a small number for a team that has New World doing what it's doing and has Lost Ark doing what it's doing and is getting ready to pick up Blue Protocol, is probably picking up Throne and Liberty. Like, there's a lot of work coming in to that division, and this is such a small number. Like, I just wonder, were most of these over at Twitch Prime and just a couple of them were the actual game studios? Because I could see probably Layoffs, Matthew, in the Twitch Prime space.
I hope so. I mean, New World seems like such a small team for such a large game. I don't think they should be losing numbers, like you said, in their games department if they're taking on 2 more giant titles, unless they're just gonna let New World fall by the wayside and then Lost Ark, and then just keep introducing new games, supporting them for a couple of years, and then just dropping them.
Don't say that. Troy's gonna cry.
I like New World too. I would be sad about that as well.
Speaking of Throne and Liberty, we kind of reported last month, I think it was maybe the end of February, that some Korean analysts were speculating that Throne and Liberty was going to be delayed and probably should be delayed to get it away from Diablo 4's release window. And we kind of talked about the merits on whether that had any validity or whether we personally would do it. But it seems now that according to Business Korea, we put this up on the site yesterday, those same analysts are basically treating that as fact now, to the point that they're adjusting financial expectations or for potential earnings for both NCSoft for the next 2 quarters and for the fiscal year as a whole, saying as the launch schedule for Throne and Liberty has been delayed, not maybe delayed, has been delayed, from June to 3rd quarter 23, we relocate our related earnings estimate by about 1 quarter and reduce our overall earnings forecast for 2023. Thus, despite the delay in the release schedule for Throne and Liberty to 3rd quarter 23, our expectations are still upbeat towards the game's market prospects. They also cited it as one of, NCSoft's most anticipated projects in a long time, which it certainly is. That there's no doubt. But we have not heard word, Troy, from either NCSoft itself or Amazon Games on a potential Korean release date delay or a global release date delay. But if financial analysts are reevaluating earnings forecasts, somebody somewhere has to know something, right?
Yeah,
like they didn't just
something.
they're not readjusting financial forecasts based on what they believe to be the case.
Yeah, the old saying, where there's smoke, there's fire. If it's smoking and the analysts are moving their projections and stuff to quarter 3, then you might as well go ahead and get ready to move your gaming to quarter 3 as well.
Still one that I'm interested in, though. Still one. I think it looks great, but Matthew, are you a little worried that maybe this is going to have like the Korean pay-to-win type of mentality that's in a lot of those games that NCSoft drops?
It will. No doubt about that.
Yeah.
But no,
not worried about it. He knows.
I do know. But yeah, it's not coming out in June. No way.
So let's ask this then. Does it come out in 2023? Wasn't this originally supposed to come out at the end of 2022, now that I think about it?
I think it could come out later this year.
All indications have been this year so far. Everything that I've seen, read, heard, even the delay is still saying, September-ish, October, something like that.
September sounds reasonable.
So yeah, I'm thinking September-ish myself, and I think it comes out this year.
I mean, they have to announce something like soon, right? I mean, if
if
analysts are already reporting on it,
like something's got to come out here soon.
Yeah, you gotta break some news on something. Crying out loud. The stuff with Dark and Darker, we went into in depth on that last week. It's such an interesting take, and like the more and more we learn, just like unfortunately, the more I have to shift to Nexon side of things. And yeah, that feels icky. It's Nexon, but we've seen this type of thing before with other games. I think Kira did a video comparing it to Terra Online, and that's a pretty apt comparison with what happened with Bluehole and NCSoft back then. And now this is Nexon, and Nexon Games actually has a player there involved that did time from that whole Terra debacle. So, like, some of the faces are even familiar. But what's really weird is last weekend, apparently a GoFundMe went up for Dark and Darker to try and help the developers meet their bills and with legal fees. They've accused Nexon of just trying to bleed them dry through the legal process, which we talked about last week is absolutely something that can happen here. Nexon can afford the lawyers. Iron Mace can't for as long as Nexon can. But the GoFundMe went up and then immediately went down. And for a little while, Matthew, they weren't even sure that it was somebody on their team that put it up.
Right.
And then when they were like, oh, yeah, we did find it. It was one of our team. It just wasn't supposed to go up yet. How bizarre. What the hell?
It sounds like they're probably all just scrabbling over there. They're a small team. They probably didn't realize this was going to happen. They probably people are just acting out on their own to try and mend things.
They
But
just
looking good.
they just didn't have the backing on like a legal team, Troy, to be like, here's how you do this right so that you don't get sued. We realize what you're trying to do, and you can't do it like this. You know, I feel like, look, some people went to jail for time over the whole Terrace thing. And yeah, you know, there was a settlement in the West, and we don't know the particulars of that as far as a civil suit. There is no civil suit here yet, only because the game hasn't actually released. That was the whole point of the DMCA takedown. So there is no real civil damages to be acquired yet. But criminally, some people from the whole Terra NCSoft thing did do jail time in Korea, and that might be a very real possibility here too, Troy.
Well, especially considering from Nexon's side of the story, they've had a history of people, you know, walking out with things that belong to Nexon themselves. So it's not their first go around with some of the guys, you know, when they worked for Nexon being punished for stuff like this. So, you know, if it walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, swims like a duck, might be a duck.
Might be.
Duck and Ducker.
Did you hear that, Troy?
Ducking Ducker.
Duck and Ducker. Oh, chat giving you the old rim shot. But
Yeah. Appreciate that, chat.
We mentioned this earlier, Troy. So take us through what the hell's going on with League of Legends autofill.
Well,
It's not game wide, but
yeah, it's not game wide. But in certain regions, they're doing a test where when you queue up for a game right now in League of Legends, like in NA, it still works like this. You get your primary and secondary role options, but then there's an internal timer that once you know a matchmaking is taking too long, you can get auto-filled into another role just to make a match happen. Well, they're trying an experiment of taking out the autofill, and you're just getting matched on your primary and secondary role options. Well, in the regions where this is happening, the matchmaking is taking up to 30 times longer than normally expected. There are people queued for hours at a time just waiting for normal matches to happen in like normal draft or ranked matches. And with that autofill gone, they're not able to get a match, and it's obviously people are all choosing the same role and nobody wants to play support.
I'm gonna play League of Legends. Let me cue this up, and we'll watch 3 episodes of Squid Game, and then we'll be in a match. We'll be in a match.
That's so wild. There's no way someone actually a bunch of guys sat there for 2 hours waiting.
Oh, yes, they absolutely would.
To play.
Yes, they would.
That's
Yes,
so
they would.
crazy.
Yeah, Cal's right too. I'm Final Fantasy 14 like glorious fanboy, right? If I log in and it says the queue's like over 80 people, I'm like, well, that's God's will. It ain't tonight. Exit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm out
Or
of here.
you wait and you queue and you go play another game. Just go do something else and keep an eye on the computer.
It's League of Legends, bro. There is nothing else.
There's nothing else at all. There is nothing else at all. Last up, NCSoft, speaking of more legal action, is suing both Kakao Games and XL Games, saying that Arcade War plagiarizes Lineage 2M.
They're on a roll.
Yeah, NCSoft, it gets you. Like, you got Nexon going after Dark and Darker. You got NCSoft going after Cacao Games and XL Games, saying, hey, Arcade War, this looks way too similar to Lineage 2M. And again, like, you do have similar names. A lot of time has gone by, but to be fair, XL Games CEO Jake Song, he was a pretty major role on the creation of the original Lineage. Of course, that doesn't mean he like stole anything and 30 years later decided to make a game based on the stuff he stole, but it does have like some of the familiar players, so we'll be keeping an eye on that one for you as well. Let's slide over and do the weekly bombs. Go ahead, Troy.
I think I'm gonna have to give an A-bomb to Dark and Darker trying to run a GoFundMe for their legal fees and problems. I get it, you're a small studio, but it sounds like you put yourself in this mess and you need to get yourself out of this mess.
Yeah, what's weird is it wasn't up for long, but reportedly screenshots show before it was taken down, it had like $46,000 in donations. Like, I get it. The game looks interesting, and I get it. You want the small guy to win against the big guy, but I don't think a lot of people are taking into account all the facts. And we don't know all the facts either, but there's certainly more you need to take in than just big guy versus small guy, David versus Goliath type thing. David, what do you got? David? When did I say David?
Yeah, I don't know.
Is that me?
David.
Yeah, that'll be you today, Matthew. How are you, David? Matthew, your weekly bomb. Go ahead.
Can I give a bomb to Overwatch 2 just for a second here?
Yeah.
I actually think the new hero they just announced is cool, and I think it's cool that
Lifeweaver?
Yeah, Lifeweaver. I think it's cool that they continue to try to make heroes from different countries. So this guy is from Thailand. And the fact that he's pansexual, I think, is cool. I mean, I don't know. Is it pandering? Maybe. But I do think they always do a good job of building out their characters so that it doesn't seem like pandering. So
Yeah, but
I'm
see,
excited for that.
Overwatch 2 is a little bit different for me. And yes, it's Activision, it's Blizzard. There is a bit of pandering that they have done in all kinds of things, right? Like going back into World of Warcraft and changing some of the original paintings on walls in places because they had somebody that had a little too much cleavage.
Remember that.
Like oddball stuff like that. But when you look at the Overwatch side of things, there is and from the beginning has been diversity in character creation or character hero selection and backstories and representation from other walks of. Tracer from day one, right? So, yeah, I definitely agree with you on the dub bomb. You also have an A bomb here too. You giving out both today?
Oh yeah, I thought I had to do both.
Nope,
I don't
just one or the other.
I'll pass on my A bomb.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm going to give a dub bomb to hopefully getting a ton of Necrom news next week, Troy, from Elder Scrolls Online. The Community Festival goes up. They've got a number of streams. We have it all covered in the schedule on MMOBomb if you need it for community reveals. But then there's a bunch of other partnered streams with some well-known Elder Scrolls Online streamers. So I would imagine that Bethesda's kind of like passing out little bits of news to all of them for their streams as well. Something like 10 or 12 different streams next week as the community festival kicks off again. So should have a ton of Necrom news. By the way, there is currently running a free access period for Elder Scrolls Online. If you've taken part in other free access periods, you can still jump into this one, including picking up right where you left off from the last one. Your progress carried over, which I think is a super cool feature of their free access periods. I think this was actually Box, and I just accidentally typed X. S. Box says, weekly bomb, relating to the question about AI from last week's episode, people are already getting creative. Giving a dub bomb to an add-on someone made for classic World of Warcraft that voices all the quest text. So now not only do you have the NPCs give responses when you greet and leave them, but they read out the full quest pages. I've been dabbling with this, and even though it's such a small feature, it adds so much immersion to the game. I'd love to see Blizzard do this kind of thing in the future in a realistic way anyways. Having fully voiced quests like this gives me the same vibes it did in SWTOR in a good way. Also, to add more to that AI question, Mike, I did indeed mean more so in terms of gameplay. I can see AI being used to speed up prototypes or proof of concepts, but in terms of final game application, I still think we're a bit away from that. Maybe not as far as I expected originally, but still some years away. Thank you for the clarification at the end. I totally get where you're coming from there. Yeah, Troy, you and I have said that often. Like, even if we're skipping things in Elder Scrolls Online, and that's one where like basically everything is fully voiced. And of course, SWTOR. Final Fantasy is kind of a mixed bag. Some of it's voiced, some of it isn't. There's definitely, even if you're skipping the shit, there's definitely more of an immersion when everything is voiced. It's just undeniable.
Yeah, absolutely. You play something like SWTOR or ESO where everything is voiced and there's a reason to go do whatever you're doing, and there's somebody actually telling you about it instead of sitting there reading it in your own voice. Because that's the problem, in your own head, everything starts kind of sounding the same. And you start skipping past it, but something about that voice, man, it really immerses you into the game.
As long as it's well done. Like, it doesn't have to be, like mega levels of voice chat, but it can't be awful. Like, just get mediocre or better, and we're fine.
They ain't all got to be Morgan Freeman, but
please don't. Let's walk down there. No, oh God, I'm done. Log out. Go ahead, Troy. Take the next one.
Raggedy, growing up, I always wanted to go to E3. When I got older, why would I pay to stand in line with humans who don't have a desire to take care of hygiene? Never understood that it was always supposed to be an event for the industry and not a convention for gamers.
Yeah, I mean, that's all cons, right? Or trading card game tournaments. Yeah. Go ahead, Matthew. Take the next one.
Exoda, sorry if I said your name wrong. Really looking forward to a pros and cons first impressions about Blue Protocol from you guys. What a shame you weren't invited to the network test. Hope you'll get early press access of some sort down the line. Have a great weekend. Smiley face. Yeah, that would be awesome. That'd be really
absolutely.
Cool.
We'll
really
be doing the
the
first look video. Absolutely.
Yeah.
On Blue Protocol. We'll break it all down in our usual fashion. That one will probably be me. And we did have some people that had network test access, but it was the network test for 4 or 5 days, whatever the hell it was. So
character creation.
Yeah, right. And like the first chapter of story. So we really wouldn't have been doing much with the content anyway, since it was so limited. To Cal2399 says, A-bomb to people who tip streamers. I was watching a grinding gear stream on YouTube last night, and people were giving $50 and $100 or more tips. This is after they said they just built a new PC with a 13900K and a 4090. Don't you idiots realize you're funding people's lifestyle? I'm going to need y'all to stop. I'm going to need y'all to stop. On a separate note, our tips box is now open. Feel free. If you've got $50 or $100 to go ahead and click that damn box, like, why not? Troy, go ahead.
That's right. We need new PCs.
Take the next one, Troy.
Ninja Panda's A-bomb to life. First, my mom ended up going to hospital on April 1st. On the 2nd, my grandma ends up going to hospital and currently still there. And a massive A-bomb to last night's order with the MacD's missing half my order. I spent over 18 pounds, so I was pissed.
Damn.
I mean,
that's a major A-bomb.
It was MacD's. I hope your mom and your grandmother get better, obviously. And go get yourself some more fries. Question of the week last week. What's the coolest mechanic you've seen in an MMORPG or MMO game? Box says, favorite MMO mechanic for me would still be Final Fantasy XIV Stormblood against Susano. Still my favorite boss fight to this day. Having that epic clash moment as a tank and doing it the first time will be burned in my brain forever. Especially just because it was just so out of the blue. Granted, I did it a while later when Shadowbringers was still new and with a friend of mine in voice chat, and he was just cackling at how giddy and excited I was. It definitely awakened my inner child again, being the hero fighting against a huge monster villain. Absolutely. That is... as soon as you started talking about it, I was like, I have the same feeling. No question of the week this week. I want a ton of weekly bombs, so let's fill it up with weekly bombs in the comments this week. Dub bomb for something good, A bomb for something bad in the world of gaming, or just in your life in general, like some of our viewers today did. We'll be back, of course, next Friday, 1 p.m. Eastern. Until then, Matthew, where can everybody find you?
Follow me on Twitter at Dino Fries. Subscribe to my YouTube channel at Dino Fries. Elsewhere, I'm Dino Fries. But yeah, thanks, guys.
Just Google Dino Fries. You'll
Yeah,
find
you'll
the
find
man.
I promise.
Troy.
Everywhere I go, I am Noob Fridge.
Too lazy to create a username. Says the only good fries are Dino Fries.
It's true. It's true.
I'm Mike Byrne. You can follow me right there at magicman1, but more importantly, follow at MMOBomb so you'll know every time we go live with a podcast stream, put up a giveaway, first look video, great news articles, or more. Until next time, stay safe. We'll see you on the servers. Later.